Hello my motor enthusiasts. We're revving up today with the news that Andretti Global, backed by none other than General Motors, is vying to become the new face in the Formula One grid. With support from FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem and the promise of an American engine, things are looking promising. Nevertheless, the road to Formula One is not without its bumps. Existing teams voice concerns about a possible dilution of resources and financial strain. Michael Andretti, son of the famed F1 world champion Mario Andretti, faces his own battles in the paddock, with detractors pointing out his team's perceived lack of experience. But with the vision of a true American team and the potential for F1 growth in the US, Michael Andretti is not one to back down from a challenge. The question remains, will Andretti Global secure their place on the starting grid? A thrilling journey awaits. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're well aware, I'm your host Enzo.
And I'm William Turner, your trusty commentator for today's episode.
Same time, same place, every day, here on the F1 Motor Fever podcast channel. Make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications on, so you don't miss a single update from the world of motorsport. Now, without any further ado, let's go full throttle. Following up on the bid by Andretti Global, headlined by Michael Andretti, there's been a somewhat surprising reaction from the Formula One world. It appears that the F1 community might be viewing the American team as, for lack of a better term, hillbillies, a term Michael himself used. The notion is that Andretti and his team are seen as outsiders lacking the know-how and finesse of the Formula One world. Can you believe it?
Now, that's a perspective I hadn't considered before. It's interesting how different viewpoints can paint such a disparate picture of the same situation.
Absolutely. Despite this, Michael Andretti remains undeterred. He's determined to show that his team can bring value to the world of Formula One. His ambition doesn't stop there, he's also aiming to participate in all major global racing events. This includes the Daytona 500 and Indy 500, stretching all the way to Monaco. Quite an ambitious endeavor, wouldn't you agree?
Indeed. It is a bold vision, but sometimes, it takes a different angle to shake things up and propel forward. This is definitely a point worth pondering on.
To add a touch of trivia to our conversation today, did you know that Michael Andretti, the man behind Andretti Global, is not only a team owner but also a former racing driver himself? He's the son of legendary Formula One world champion, Mario Andretti.
Indeed, and during his own racing career, Michael Andretti had quite a successful stint in IndyCar, where he won the championship in the year of 1991.
Quite right. However, his time in Formula One was a bit of a whirlwind. He had a single season with McLaren in the year of 1993, paired with none other than Ayrton Senna. Unfortunately, his season was fraught with retirements and he scored only a single podium.
Yes, it's fascinating how one's fortunes can differ so greatly between two racing series. Despite his lackluster Formula One career, Michael Andretti has since become a highly successful team owner in American motorsport, which tells us that driving skills and team management skills require a different set of expertise.
Carrying on with the Andretti Global story, what's striking is Michael Andretti's firm belief in the cross-pollination of knowledge between different types of racing. He strongly feels that his organization can benefit from his wide-ranging involvement across multiple motorsports categories.
Very much so, and his exposure to Formula One came at an early age, courtesy of his father, who was an F1 world champion. That experience seemed to have sparked his interest in the sport and laid the groundwork for his future ambitions.
Absolutely. You know what else caught my attention in his commentary? His mention of the Haas F1 team. Haas, another American-owned team, is quite different from what Andretti plans to bring to the table. Michael highlighted that Haas doesn't build their own cars, instead sourcing as much as they can from Ferrari, including engineers.
Yes, quite a pointed critique there. Andretti seems to be staking his claim as the true representation of American involvement in the sport.
Indeed. And that's not all. There's a sense of perfect timing surrounding the Andretti bid. The popularity of Formula One in the United States has exploded, in part due to the Netflix show Drive to Survive. This year, the country hosted 3 Grand Prix weekends, with the Las Vegas event becoming one of the most hyped sporting events in history.
That's a good point. It feels like the stage is set for Andretti Global to make a splash in the Formula One world. It'll be fascinating to see how this bid progresses.
Continuing on this incredible journey of Andretti's return to Formula One, it's clear that his experiences during his own F1 driving stint have played a significant role in his approach. He admits that it wasn't a successful time in his career, but he values the lessons learnt and the personal growth that came from it. You know, I've got a nephew who would find this so inspiring.
Yes, those moments of adversity can often be the most formative. It's evident that Andretti has used that experience to propel him forward rather than deter him.
Absolutely. And now, 30 years later, he is ready to return to the F1 arena, but not without some resistance. Despite this, his resolve remains unshaken. He believes in thinking creatively and is prepared to navigate the politics involved.
It's a complex sport, that's for sure. Andretti also acknowledges the stark differences between IndyCar and Formula One. Where in IndyCar you buy a car and you're in the competition, in F1 you're tasked with building a car from scratch.
Yes, that's a massive task to undertake. Yet, he sees the potential benefits for the sport, with the addition of more cars, and believes his team can bring more to the table than they take. His ultimate goal is clear: a fully American F1 team with an American driver, a car built in the US, and an American-built engine powering it.
An ambitious goal indeed, but one that could create immense interest in the sport, particularly in the US. It's going to be really exciting to see how this unfolds.
As we delve deeper into Andretti's plans, it's interesting to note the role of cost caps in making the Formula One arena more attractive for new teams. He acknowledged that competing with the likes of Ferrari and Mercedes, with their limitless resources, was an uphill battle. However, the recent move towards cost controls and caps has, in his words, made it more of an even playing ground.
Yes, and the pride Andretti has in his brand is palpable. The legacy his father, Mario, built, and his own efforts through his driving and now with the team show a commitment to the sport that can be admired.
Indeed. He's quite determined not to let anything tarnish that reputation. In order to be competitive, he believes it's crucial to align oneself with the right partners. Andretti Global has General Motors and Cadillac backing their bid, which is a significant boost.
Undoubtedly so, these are heavyweight partners bringing their experience and resources to the table. Andretti's confidence in having all the ingredients for a competitive team is contagious.
It's a monumental task ahead, but if there's anyone who could pull it off, it's probably Michael Andretti and his team. It'll be interesting to see what hurdles they might face in their pursuit to join the F1 grid. Perhaps that's something we can delve into in a future episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast. William, would you like to take us through some internet reactions on a related note?
Absolutely, Enzo. We've got a rather interesting discussion ignited by a user called Rainbow Penguin. Quote, if you could create or add one rule to F1 for next year, what would it be? Rainbow Penguin suggests points down to 15th place to increase competition and entertainment for viewers. Unquote.
That's an interesting viewpoint. What other responses?
Well, No Lingonberry 8603 suggested that all sprint races should be kart races, with no upgrades or development permitted. This led to a humorous exchange with users Level Stop and Meerkat, where they imagined an actual foot sprint race, with drivers running a 200-meter dash to set the grid. Unquote.
Can you imagine the chaos?
Indeed. They also discussed which teams might have the fastest runners. The consensus seems to lean towards Mercedes, but they reckon the McLaren boys might struggle.
What about the other reactions to the original post?
Another user called FIFO Goes Fast brings up an interesting point. Quote, drivers should be exempt from grid drops if track issues break their cars. Unquote. This sentiment sparked a lively debate among users like MechMan and Gold Age, debating the feasibility and fairness of such a rule.
That's definitely a tricky one. Any other standout comments?
Yes, a user going by the name of the American Q suggested a more refined definition of the rule, making exceptions for equipment failures and other circumstances beyond the driver's control.
It's a complex issue indeed, but these viewpoints all bring something valuable to the table. Good for thought, right, William?
Definitely, Enzo Watts. It's always fascinating to hear how fans would shape the sport.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a fascinating discussion on the role of cost caps and Andretti's potential entry into the world of Formula One. Plenty of food for thought, wouldn't you say? We appreciate your company and we hope these conversations ignite the same passion in you as they do in us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and do us a favor by clicking that notification bell. We'd hate for you to miss out on any exciting updates.
Oh, absolutely, Enzo. I'm already looking forward to our next chat, aren't you? Our listeners are the heart and soul of this podcast, so do keep sharing your thoughts in the comment section. Remember, it's a two-way dialogue. The more you engage, the more we can tailor our content to suit your interests. And hey, don't forget to spread the word about F1 Motor Fever podcast in your social circles. Let's stir up some banter and some healthy debates.
Couldn't have said it better myself, William. We thank you once again for your time and support. Without further ado, it's time for us to hit the road. We'll see you in the next episode.
Couldn't agree more, Enzo. So folks, until next time, keep your anticipation high and expectations higher. Remember our motto, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.